It caught on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the Monster Mash.
I'm Luke Summerhays,
I'm James J. Moy.
I'm Andrew Rice.
I'm James the Jester Stewart.
and you're listening to Monster Mash.
And this episode, we're hunting the Daimyo Hermitaur.
This large carapacian wears a massive monster skull on its back and uses its large pincers and bubble breath to attack prey. When in danger, it uses its hardened pincers to form a tough shield that repels attacks.
When it puts its claws in front of its face, you don't not attack them anymore, do you? Because they're still pretty soft.
You'd imagine its weak point is probably its face. So that's why it puts its claws up in its front of its face.
Yeah, I guess.
It's oddly cute when it does that. I don't know if you noticed during the preamble quest we had, but just like, don't hurt me.
Oh, it does. For a giant crab wearing a skull, it's actually pretty cute.
When it starts frothing at the mouth with the bubbles.
I mean, bubbles, as far as attacks go, are fairly cute. You think
And
of like
apparently
Swirl and
bloody
Curly.
lethal. Jeez, I do not remember those being as heavy hitting as they were, but like whenever we got hit by them.
I mean, they're only lethal if you're shite.
Right, no, let's
Oh yeah, you want attack.
Wait, you're admitting to being shite there because you got whacked by it.
I felt
Big
bad.
old
I felt like I should say as well.
I got 99 problems, but
Like, I want to join in.
one.
But yeah, basically just a giant enemy crab. That's his gimmick.
Oh yeah, you got your Hermitaur, which is a fairly big crab, and then when it grows up,
Yeah,
it
wait a second.
becomes...
Does anyone want to see it? Hit his weak spot for massive damage.
when it grows up, it becomes a giant enemy crab, but it does sort of a hermit crab type thing. But instead of wearing a shell, it wears the skull of a much bigger monster, normally a Monoblos.
Yes.
Right, I've not fought this guy or even seen this guy before. What games was he in?
So he was in the very first Monster Hunter. Yeah, so Daimyo Hermitaur came in Monster Hunter 2. Monoblos was in Monster Hunter 1. And then he's also been in 4, so that's the only one we would have played. But I think he's pretty late game.
Right, so I wouldn't have come across him as a.
You wouldn't have come. Yeah, no.
That's
I
fine.
don't even think he's in Generations, is he?
No, he's not.
No,
I don't think so.
From what I can gather, his the ones you fight are never big enough that their skulls would be what a Hermitaur is wearing. Because to be that big, it would have to be like borderline Godzilla-sized monsters.
No, white Monoblos gets pretty big. Like, it might just be the skulls of white ones, I don't know, but they're pretty massive.
He's basically a big horny bastard, isn't he? The Monopolis, I'm guessing.
He's like a Triceratops-headed dragon. Lad.
Have you fought the Diablos at all?
Bad.
No, he's not in Generations, is he?
No, but he's
No, neither of my generations.
much earlier in 4.
They're in 4
Yeah.
Ultimate, but I think they're both in 4 Ultimate, but they're...
There is
That's-
some of the
That's
Daimyo
awesome, that.
Hermitaur, some of the Hermitaur variations wear the Diablos skull instead.
So if we're under the assumption that the little Hermitaurs grow up to be the big Daimyo Hermitaurs, as most of the monsters do in this game, then are they just wearing like rocks on their back? Like they're not
I
anything
think-
special.
I think it's just a standard shell from a monster that isn't like actually seen.
It says that the Hermitaurs have shells, and then the Daimyo Hermitaurs outgrow a natural shell and go for the skulls instead. I don't know if that's an assumption or if it says that anywhere in games. Just it grows so big that it would be unfeasible for the animal to grow a shell that big.
And it just falls off and then it finds the Noblos shell or the Diablos one.
I mean, just to take a step back, the idea of sort of a crab wearing a big skull is really cool.
Yeah, really cool idea. Pretty fucking metal.
Generally crab enemies are a bit trite and overdone, but this is a really good twist on it, and he's one of my favourite designs, I think.
Yeah, and he uses it to good effect
Especially in the early
when he starts kind of digging underground and he pops up with the horn of the Noblos shell, just to attack. I guess. Well done, and he actually can charge you from both sides with the water, obviously from his face, but he can also charge you using the shell. So it gives a good kind of dynamic, I think, to the fight usually.
There's a couple of different Pokemon where the idea is that they've got their real head and then sort of a fake one on the back, and I think it's all based on a sort of Japanese mythical monster. So I'm wondering if that's sort of implied here as well.
Possibly, what I have seen as well, there's kind of it looks like the Hermitaur itself is actually manipulating the skull, because sometimes you can see the lower jaw of the Monoblos like
Yeah, it
moving.
wriggles it around a little bit. If there's a bigger monster that would eat Hermitaurs, then maybe it like them into thinking it tries to trick them into thinking it is a Monoblos. They
Mhm.
leave it alone.
But so I'm not sure that the Hermitaur can do that. I think you might be thinking of the Singalong. The Singalong definitely does that, but I don't ever remember Hermitaur having any control over.
No, the Senator doesn't have a Monoblos shell, though, does he?
So yeah, it's just like a big round kind of stone shell.
No, Singalong does have a
three
Monoblos
different
shell.
shells,
There's
and
a
none
couple
of
of
them are
different
monsters.
shells.
Yeah,
None of them are
Senator
monster type.
definitely doesn't.
I think it has a skull, but not a Monoblos one.
He's
It's
Yeah,
definitely
I think the Shogun Senator, its monster kind of skull like shell is it's not an identified monster in the game.
I swear it was a
It's
Monoblos.
just a random skull.
I think it's just a damaged Monoblos. I'm sure.
no, definitely not. It's definitely not a Monopoly shell.
Well, we'll get to Senators at a later date.
One thing I suppose we can talk about is the daimyo and I suppose the shogun aspects of their names. I'm guessing those are kind of like Japanese honorifics there.
Yeah, Daimyo were sort of like feudal lords we'd have had over here. Well, it says they're from after the Shogun.
Basically, chief of the Hermitaur pack, so to speak.
They're just the leader of the clan, sort of thing.
Yeah, much like the Great Macau as we were talking about, just
Yeah.
like basically boss of the little ones.
I guess the reason they've gone with sort of Daimyo and Shogun, which are sort of have implications, is because the claws are a bit like swords, especially once you get into the Senator.
Senator's a lot more like that. Yeah, I see the Hermitaur's more like a club, just as like bashes you.
Oh yeah, but I mean it sort of, and also just the generally the shelledness and the armorness. It does make you think of like a samurai warrior a little more than you would with just a dinosaur or something.
Suppose like the daimyo one's kind of like your big ornate samurai, like shogun style helmet.
Yeah.
Suppose that's where it comes from. Yeah, I can see that. Do we want to have some chat about the quests, like where the Hermitaurs pop up in the quests?
Yeah, I mean, similar to the other early monsters, it's never the end of the world, but we're in an area and there's one of these causing a pain, making it dangerous. Or the very first quest is a feline saying his mate's gone out to try and kill it, but he's worried he's not going to be able to put it off. Can you go take care of it for us?
They never seem to be. They're not as much like threats in the actual world and ecology of Monster Hunter compared to like the Macau can actually be somewhat of a threat. Bull drum is a nuisance. The Hermitaurs always seem fairly passive. They're just, if you go up on their territory, they're gonna push your shit in, so to speak. Because
Oh yeah, you've got to get pretty close to one before it gives you any grief.
I suppose they spend a lot of time burrowed underground as well. So it's probably what happens is your average traveller walks about and bumps into one and just erupts at the sand, and bad times ensue.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it comes up under you, as Andy can testify, it will take you out in one go.
Going back to the Shogun, it's a Gravios skull.
I was totally wrong then. Take it back. Take it all back.
Not talking about the Shogun this week, guys. Yeah, in terms of actually fighting him, he's not super complicated, but he does just have the nice trick of you can't really attack him through the shell, so you've got to go into the danger zone to get at him.
Yeah.
Nice little risk reward thing, because all of his attacks really are he's either squirting water out of his mouth or he's coming at you with his claws.
You can't even really break the shell properly. You can break the horn, which kind of neuters his attack, but like you can't in terms of still getting hits on him. You've got to get in to the squishy underbelly and attack at each point.
The
for
legs
massive
are
damage.
yeah, especially-
pretty good to hit, but
Yeah, but he can turn if you're attacking his legs, he can turn to face you pretty quickly.
Yeah, but like when you're hitting his legs though, it doesn't feel like you're doing like very much because they're so spindly. You just feel like you're not doing a lot of damage when you do that.
never really.
I typically try and target his claws.
Yeah,
it feels best getting hits in like in the big meaty sections.
well, that's the thing, I'll always aim for like the claws stuff because I can get a break, but like
Or if you go good old sword and shield, you can just whack on the mind's eye oil and hit the shell all you want because you won't bounce.
Yeah, well, when we were fighting him like before recording, I was using, as we do, like very basic yellow weapon, and I don't think I did anything if I attacked from the shell. Every single hit would bounce off.
Yeah, it would.
So I had no, and like in the early game, obviously those were the weapons I had, so I was forced to go in, learn how to dodge and roll.
It's kind of funny when you
Stuck
mount the Hermitaur itself, like you're
riding the horn.
You're on the shell, yeah, and stabbing it. Like it doesn't look like you should actually be doing much damage because you're just jabbing your little knife, like carving knife, into the shell of.
It makes
the
me think
Monolith.
you're just banging on the shell, and the The noise is annoying him enough that he gets confused and falls over.
Yeah.
Just get off, get off.
He's just like a dog during the fireworks sort of thing. The banging is just getting to him.
Dog during the fireworks.
Well, he does jump like right up in the air, doesn't he? Like,
Just like a
seen a
dog
dog
in
do
the
that
fire.
before when fireworks go off.
Really? Oh, okay.
It's like,
The
Yeah,
dogs
it's
go batshit insane during
I've
fireworks.
never seen one jump. I've seen like spinning in circles and freaking the shit out, but like actually jumping, that's
oh, dogs that I've had before have done that. Like, just they go daft, man, just start jumping on the fucking spot and then round in circles, run into a corner.
Yeah, well, I hadn't really noticed it until we were fighting the hyper one earlier, but the Hermitaur can bounce around quite a bit, considering you just assume he's going to be weighed down by that skull. But he was jumping about sort of almost more than the Great Cow does.
I think that's typically why you'll go underground a lot, like to kind of surprise attack you.
Yeah. That's where it's
Because typically, like when he's just on land, his movement's kind of limited. He
Yeah,
typically
all his
moves, like,
attacks
side
that
to
do a
side,
lot of damage are
not stone
vertical.
crab, so-
It's either him jumping up and landing on you or going down and coming up under you.
Yeah.
They're his real, like they're the ones that are going to take off big chunks of your health bar.
Should we talk a little bit about the deviant Hermitaur you can get in Generations, considering that's where most of our focus is coming from?
The Stone Fist.
The Stone Fist, because like the deviants I've fought in this game seem relatively different. This one, besides one big flaming horn attack, didn't feel all too different.
I mean, looking at him, he's like going from Krabby to Kingler. He's got one big claw now.
Krabby to King. Yeah, that's a
But
fair
it didn't feel like he was doing anything extra with that claw.
no.
I didn't notice him like
It was a bit
Yeah.
jumpier, I think, but aside from that, he basically just seemed to want to smash.
yeah, it didn't feel like he was like pulling out any massive attacks with that claw. It felt the same as his normal.
I think it maybe is the case
Two
that I've
smaller
only
ones.
fought Stone Fist like the one time, I think, and it was like a pretty short fight.
Also, I think I've only fought it in multiplayer, and obviously you don't get quite as good you're not having to concentrate on the monster quite as hard when you're with other people because they could take a bit of the flak for you.
The deviants
Maybe-
are designed for multiplayer, though, aren't they?
So he is just shit then.
I would say that. Like, I think it's
No,
just the fact that we've not fought him a whole lot. Like once or twice.
Yeah.
But he
I know I've only
definitely
fought him
still
once
packed a hell of a punch. Like he definitely
It can be
was a
like weird
tough
though. Like,
version, but
'cause, like when we fought that hyper oil Ludroth the other night, like that seemed like no different from like a normal Ludroth. Whereas
Oh,
all
yeah.
all the hyper monsters I've fought are at least have like one or two different attacks, and at least the deviant Stone Fist Hermitaur like definitely feels different to a normal Hermitaur to me.
I think a little bit. But I think the main thing is that he's doing very similar attacks, but with way more damage. And I don't know if that's something that will evolve as we.
If you're really good at rolling, it's not so much of an issue.
But I think it's just a case of ranking him up maybe, and then we'll see better.
I think it's tough to talk about the deviants because until you get the
Yeah, we're pretty early.
level, all the way up to
deviant
like
game.
max level, it's probably like their true form.
Yeah.
I would say.
This isn't even my final form.
Ah, you beat me to it.
One thing we haven't really talked about with the Hermitaur as well is that he shoots water at you. I think he likes shooting a little jet of water like he's a Pokemon.
Yeah, it's fairly dodgeable, and unless you're
Is
Andy,
it
doesn't do
a
anything
Hermitaur or is
else.
it Shogun that does like they shoot the burst of water and then they move to the side?
Yeah, that's the Daimyo. No, is that? Or, I can't remember.
I don't know if they both do it or if one of them. Like, I always
They-
kind of forget that.
Probably both do it. They're kind of same sort of species. I guess they're kind of different subspecies, aren't they? And he also kind of foams at the mouth as well, like he's really, really angry.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah, I mean, I've not paid a huge amount of attention to crabs in real life, but I've noticed a lot of crab enemies in games do that, so I'm guessing that is a thing they do.
foam at the mouth, maybe.
Yeah, because the ones in Dark Souls 3 do it as well.
They do. That's right. Yeah, yeah. They burrow to the ground as well.
When they're designing monsters anyway for Monster Hunter games, like they take cues from like real life animals anyway. So like, kind
Oh yeah, they all
sense that
feel
the Hermitaur does that.
like every Monster Hunter monster feels like a living thing. That's what makes them worth having a podcast talking about.
Indeed.
It does come across like how I would, more than any other sort of generic big crab enemy in a game, how I would imagine fighting a giant enemy crab would feel.
Well, bar the big, massive demon skull on the back.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even that, it looks ridiculous, but it it serves as a hard shell you can't get through.
I suppose it's more than just a defense for it because it does attack with the horn as well, and that's where the Stonefist, the Deviant Hermitaur, comes into play as well. That's the only real major difference I noticed, besides being a bit bigger, is that he could like set his horn on fire and basically shred you with it.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but I never.
He definitely did it.
Oh no, I'm not-
Yeah, I've seen it. I know.
I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying I never sort of got hit by or noticed that attack.
Same.
I'm being truthful,
I
honest.
don't know how you.
It's fine, mate. I trust you.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
really don't get how you missed that. Like it's bright orange when it does it.
I think he was facing
I-
it most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think I spent much time around his back.
So next week we'll be taking on the first of many, basically just dinosaur monsters that are in the game. I know the weight's going to be a paralysing weight, but next week we're going to be taking on the Gendrome.
And if by some miracle you've enjoyed this nonsense, why not give us a little like and a subscribe on iTunes and give us a 5-star review and tell your mates about it.
And do remember, this is very important, please tweet at AndyMan949 pictures of angry crabs.
If you've got crabs, do consult your GP before consulting Handyman949.
Please do not consult me if you have cramps.
Andy's a doctor, I don't know what you're talking about. You should get great help from him.
And remember to follow us at Monster Mash Pod.
Right, let's kill the crab. In theory, this should be a piece burst. Push and pull you down.
Do you believe in life after love, after love, after love?
No.
I can feel something inside me saying I really don't think I'm strong enough. No. Oh
Yeah, well, that's
fuck!
it. Come on, Andy.
Hey!
Just a little Hermitaur. This is going to be at the end of the cast, and everyone's going to laugh at you. You're wearing your armour too.
This is a hard monster.
My uncle works at Nintendo and he said this is the really hardest quest that all the testers couldn't even do. And he rung me up when I did it and he said, Andy, you're so good at games, I'm gonna make you the king of games. And then I said, oh, I fainted on it, and he's like, yeah. And I was excommunicated from the Rice family.
He was like, I was going to add achievements into Monster Hunter just for you, and then you fucked it.
Oh, I'm up a tree! No!
We mock me for being a noob. You've never climbed the fucking tree.
I'm too busy climbing the monsters, mate. Climbing your mum, it's quite a trek.
Completed the obvious choice. Jay, Andrew, Lily. What's this? Andrew has fainted one time.
Fuck.
Well,
No.
I'm Andrew Rice, I am really good at computer games. Oh, shit.
fucking hell. This is the fucking amateur hour or something. Well, you know what?